Welcome to the U, and we'll be talking about a lot of topics today. And in Penn State news, we'll be talking about a student who fell out of an apartment building.
In national news, Fat Kid saves Gotham City.
In entertainment, we have celebrity feuds with Joan Rivers versus Jennifer Lawrence and Perez Hilton and Lady Gaga.
And fortunately for us, we will be together with Shayna Stern today, the editor-in-chief of the Valley magazine.
Stay tuned for these stories and more on the U. Welcome to the U. I'm Taylor Basaki.
I'm Natalie Martinez.
I'm Candace Brock.
And I'm Angela Travato.
For Penn State news, we'll be starting off talking about a small gathering that kind of went bad. A Penn State student, Connor McManus, fell out of a balcony window from Penn Towers on the 9th floor.
I honestly, when I heard that story, I couldn't believe it. The investigation shows that some drugs or alcohol were most likely involved, and it's just hard when you lose someone due to something not natural and something that could have been prevented.
And I'm just thinking, what is Penn State going to do now to prevent that kind of stuff? Because that's not the first time it's happened.
A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
other occasions, especially last year.
Last year, yeah.
There
very
was
bad.
that girl that, I think you guys know more about that,
Calder
right?
Commons. She
Right.
fell out of a window. She did survive though, and she was doing recovery and everything. Paige Rack, I believe her name was. So there was that, and it's just, this is something that keeps happening. And you're right, what are we going to do? Are we going to start putting bars on windows? Are we going to make balcony rails higher? I mean, something needs to be done because it seems to be a problem.
I mean, think about it. He's only 20 years old, and he had so much life ahead of him, and it's really sad. It's an awful story. I can't imagine his family. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, that's for sure, with grieving and everything.
Yeah, I mean, safety has been an issue, and it continues to be an issue, especially on a college campus, which is why Penn State actually is installing now. They actually got some more funds for cameras, and they're installing 422 surveillance cameras
Wow.
at the end of this month to the end of the academic year, and they're installing them on campus residential halls in and around them. So that could be very good for, especially for incidents, because they're using them for university police investigations.
Absolutely, and with vandalism, there's those things that just happened over the weekend with the fraternities. That'll be very helpful, even though that's off campus, with cameras on campus and vandalism, catching people that are hopefully doing things wrong and making sure that it doesn't keep happening.
And they said part of the reason they were doing it is because there's a lot of piggybacking. So you open your door, and then someone will just come in, but you don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
Actually was a big offender.
Guilty.
Of
Yeah,
I
me
know.
too.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty. My brother would always, because my brother went here, he would always kind of piggyback with people to come in. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is helpful for stuff like that when somebody needs to get in and
Right.
they don't mean any harm. But I think I was surprised to learn that we didn't really have any security cameras.
I
when
was
a
too.
freshman.
There was.
Me
I
too.
thought they were here. I always thought that I saw them around, but apparently not.
Not like
I think there were a
yeah.
couple. I'm not sure that they were everywhere. I know that there were some in East Halls where I lived last year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they had some, but
They had
not
some.
422. So.
There's actually
Yeah.
2 phases of the whole installation. In the first phase, they'll be putting it in the entry and exits of the building doors, and then in the second phase, they're putting them in the loading docks and the common areas by the elevators. So,
And hallways too, right?
yep, they're definitely vamping up the
Security.
security.
And a lot-
Yes.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy that we didn't have that before, though. I know this is State College and it's a safe town, but in this day and age, I think that you need that. And it's good that they're doing it now, but I was just surprised to learn that we didn't have that before.
Especially hearing about some of the assaults going on campus too. You think that, I don't know if it's a push for it, but it's definitely shows that it's necessary.
Right. Kind of what took them even so long to get that many happening after. I know last summer there were things with girls and guys on campus that happened that went wrong and bad things like that. So it is, it's comforting to know that there will be cameras, but I'm glad I'm not in East because I was definitely the lazy person that didn't want to go let my friend in when they had to come in and didn't have a swipe. So
Well, even though cameras are coming to Penn State, so did the editors of many different news platforms. They came and spoke about journalism. I don't know about you guys, but in my classes, a lot of them are saying that journalism is dying. And these editors were actually saying, you know what, it's not dying, it's just evolving.
changing totally, completely. Everything is really with this day and age, social media, TV, everything. A lot of more things are happening online instead of opposed to like TV crews, cameras. It costs less money. It still gets out there, and it's the same information pretty much. So I'm not really surprised that it's changing, but I definitely agree. I don't think it's dying.
No,
I don't think
especially-
it can ever die because
Yeah.
people always need to know what's going
We
on.
always
They
need
always-
information, and now more than
Exactly.
ever, we want so much information all the
The
time.
thing is, we want it
Now.
fast, and that's
Exactly.
kind of been a problem. And they did touch on that a little bit, saying like, if you're getting the news so quickly, then you're not checking your facts, and then you end up saying the wrong name, and it affects people's lives.
Knee-jerk reactions to things, kind of because they're just trying to get the story out there. They don't really have it all straight yet.
Yeah.
That could cause problems for sure.
And I do think when they say it's dying, I don't want to make a generalization, but I do think they're really meaning and talking about print. Because
Specifically.
Yes, I
specifically,
would agree.
like I think,
Yeah.
you know, things are changing in terms of broadcast, but I think especially print, like newspaper subscriptions, it's a known thing that they're down. And I think the New York Times was there, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Philadelphia Inquirer, and they're all kind of
Absolutely.
moving on to more online things because
Yeah.
that's where people want to get their news from.
They had Dan Victor, who's the social media editor at New York Times, and they also had people from the newspapers. But the thing, it was just interesting to see that they all had different things to say because they all are in different platforms, and it's
Exactly.
basically just tailoring it to your audience and trying to connect both of them, you know, print and broadcast.
Right. And thinking about it, though, there is a social media chair on a newspaper. Like, since when has that ever been necessary until now? You know, like, even positions like that, obviously, things are changing. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, though, because it makes more information available faster, which I feel like can't hurt, except for you said in some cases when it's just they're trying to get it out too quick and things get wrong. So.
Well, what also is being brought to us is the Creamery. The Creamery ice cream is actually, it was brought to Lehigh. It was brought to a hotel for alumni, and now that they can enjoy it themselves. It's not just here at the Berkey Creamery.
Yeah, traveling ice cream. I mean, who's going to get mad at that? Creamery everywhere. I'm surprised.
And they're buying so much. Apparently, they bought 53-gallon containers. That is so much ice
Oh
cream.
my
There's a
gosh.
lot of ice cream.
But of course, like not surprising, they had a line out the door.
Yeah.
And just
Absolutely.
They have 10 flavors from the Creamery, and they did say with how many gallons they have to keep increasing it because people keep coming back and back.
That's insane.
That's all we have for Penn State News. Stay tuned.
Hi, welcome back. Now we'll be talking about world and national news. First of all, we'll be talking about a lot of saving news. Like a lot of people have been saved recently. This man is now living without a heart, and he was dying. He's 55 years old, and basically the device they put in him is like they pump the blood through, but there's no pulse.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so
technically, like if you put anything there, it's like he's dead, which
There
is
is no
crazy.
heart.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He was 55 and had like such a severe case of heart disease. And they actually, I was watching the video of it, and the doctors tested it on like 50 cows before, and a lot of different animals, and they're like, we wouldn't even think about putting this in a human until we are sure that this would work. And they said they put it in, they did the transplant, or not transplant, but they put in the device, and the next day he was functioning like any of us would.
He
That
was on the
is-
computer just going about his day. That's, I mean,
Technology.
yeah,
Science
exactly.
even. Like, that's insane. They, like you said, they tested it on cows before. So they obviously have had things in mind of what they could do with it. So that's so exciting that it could actually work in a person. Weird that you wouldn't have a pulse. And I wonder, too, like, you know, if you have a pulse in your neck and your wrist and everything, I guess it's nowhere. Because it's just, it's just a pump where his heart was. So that's weird. Very weird, but awesome at the same time.
Someone else that got saved is this man, and he returned the favor and saved his dog like 5 minutes later. And basically, there was a fire in a house, and the dog, he jumped up on his owner's chest and woke him up. And he woke up, and the fire was only 10 feet away. And he tried
gosh.
taking it out, like putting water on it. It didn't work. He ran out of the house, and he thought the dog was like right next to him, but he was still in the house. So he ran back in and saved him. Such a cute story.
The
It
dog was
adorable.
adorable too.
So
The dog
cute.
is always with him too because they work together in the animal shelter, and it is just a really nice, sweet story to hear.
So sweet. Dogs are man best friend. You know what I mean? Think about it. How many people love their dogs and their animals as children? So that's so sweet. I love that story.
Yeah.
A little kid saved Gotham City in
kid.
San Francisco. Bat Kid, yes. And there was 7,000 people that helped with this, and it was a Make-A-Wish that that he wanted to be Batman kind of for the day, and that's just so adorable.
So sweet.
Miles
sweet.
Scott, he's 5 years old, and he was diagnosed with leukemia at 18 months old. I can't even imagine the family and what he's gone through and what they've gone through. So I think for San Francisco to come together and make that happen for him is really
That's
sweet.
incredible that they, transform the whole city into that. Just for a kid's wish. It's just
Yeah.
something. It's
Like, really,
it's sweet.
yeah.
They
And
did
it's- yeah.
videos and everything. Someone was like, "You gotta come save the city." They had like a bat up on a hotel, like the Hyatt. It was so sweet.
Even Obama said something in it too in the video. So
Yeah,
He had
and
a
he's-
Batmobile,
yeah.
which is
Oh,
sweet. Yeah.
That was
That's just amazing, and it's great too. Like they made his wish come true, but he's in remission now, which is even more
More.
amazing
Yes.
that he's gonna be okay. But I think it's just so cool to see a city come together for a 5-year-old and just do something to make his dreams come true.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think people were saying they were worried about it because San Francisco had spent so much money on it. But at the same time, the Make-A-Wish Foundation's website at the time that this was all happening in San Francisco crashed because so many people were trying to make donations. So I can't imagine that it would be bad or negative in any
it's
way
actually good,
because
yeah.
they're bringing attention to it. It's a great story. It makes you, happy and excited for this little boy. His dreams are coming true, and you're also helping other kids by getting all these donations. So I think it's great.
people were even donating through the event. So I mean,
Yeah, live time they were donating as it was happening. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, there was a woman that was not saved. She was mauled by a cougar.
The call, when I heard that, they actually released the tape of the call. It was hard to listen to because the owner of the place, he was hysterical because he actually found the woman's body. They said she might have gone against, like protocols or rules because they think that she might have been in the cage by herself, and I guess she was taking care of one of the cougars or something, and I just can't believe that would happen, especially if you work with the cougars and you work with these
Right.
wildcats every day. You'd maybe feel safe and
Right.
you're in a tamed environment, but
You would
that
imagine.
just shows that these are wild animals,
Yeah.
and it's again to putting them into these captive spaces that they still are wild animals. You're not bringing a cougar to make it a house cat.
Right. You would
Yeah.
imagine she
You
would have
know?
had to do something out of the routine or out of the
Yeah.
ordinary because, like you said, she's working with them every day.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to just all of a sudden attack or like change what they had, how they acted with her, something must have been off or wrong because I feel like they only really attack when they're scared or when
threatened or
something they don't know what's
something,
going on. So you
Yeah.
have to wonder the backstory to that.
Yeah, and it
before.
happened in Oregon too, and I'm pretty sure the place was called Wildcat Haven.
So there's a lot
And
of
they had like
wildcats.
60
Wow,
big
yes.
cats there.
60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The man
It's
was
a lot.
actually in the tape of the recording. He was actually shooing the cats away. He's like, "Get out of here! Get out of here!" He's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!" He was just completely shocked.
Yeah, and that's safety for him too because all those cats coming towards him after that thing just happened, I feel like they have a heightened sense of adrenaline or like maybe they want to attack now. So
And the
that's
poli-
definitely nerve-wracking.
The person he was talking to was like, "Look, we're worried about your safety. If it's not safe, don't go in there, and we'll come and like help out and stuff." But he managed to get out of there fine.
That's crazy.
So kissing traditions on college campuses. Have you guys ever heard of like those kind of traditions where you go on a bridge and like an older senior boy will like kiss you on that bridge and it means certain
It
things?
sounds like a
gonna get
movie.
married.
It does,
It sounds
right?
like a movie.
I don't think Penn State has that otherwise.
I haven't heard
I
about
haven't
that,
heard.
yeah.
It's a cute idea though. I kind of like it.
But they're kind of going down because, I feel like if you're going to kiss many people, because certain like
That's gross.
pledges,
Yeah, that's not,
that is
Yeah.
not a health, that's a health
Yeah,
concern
they're
for sure.
worried about safety issues and health issues, not only because, obviously you're kissing all these people.
Yeah.
Actually, one girl even said, "I only kissed 8 people because I was recovering from the flu."
Oh.
Like, okay,
Ew.
all right. But also
Yeah.
another safety issue is because at one of the kissing traditions, I believe it was in Stanford, that students were actually very intoxicated from the event. So.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to take down kind of the alcohol part of the entire event. So that's all for World and National News. Make sure to stay tuned.
Hi, and welcome back to the U. We are fortunate enough to be joined by Shayna Stern, who is the editor-in-chief of The Valley magazine. It's exciting. They have a new edition coming out. It is a beautiful cover. And why don't you tell us a little bit about The Valley? What do you guys write in your magazine?
Okay, so we're Penn State's Life and Style magazine. We cover local fashion, beauty, health, campus culture, self-improvement, it's all about just being like a positive outlet for women on campus.
That's awesome. I really like that
That is
idea.
awesome. So how do you choose your cover girl and your design on your magazine?
Okay, so the cover girl is a process that you can either apply or be nominated. So it's a standout student who's just like really accomplished and a great role model for other women on campus. So I don't want to ruin the story too much, but for this semester we have Kate Thompson, and she does this really cool research in Africa, like through Penn State, different programs and stuff. So she just has a really cool story, and she has a backstory where she's a runner and struggles with body image issues. And it's just a really awesome story, and she's a great, awesome, happy girl, and hopefully a really good role model for people on campus.
She sounds really inspiring. I appreciate that you do someone who's not just beautiful, but smart
Yeah,
and good
so
on
it's
campus.
awesome that you look at what they do and not just the looks, actually.
Right, yeah, it's definitely about what they do, not the looks. I mean, obviously we try to make it look cool. We went to the Arboretum for the photo shoot and dress her up, and the stores downtown are actually really great to us. They let us borrow clothes for all the photo shoots and everything.
Wow,
Oh,
so
wow.
cool.
Yeah, Mr. Charles Connections and a bunch of other stores.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are really fun.
Is there any sneak peeks that you can give us, like what we should be expecting on this magazine?
We have some interesting stories. We try to, find other students who aren't necessarily the cover girl that have really interesting stories that can help girls as well. We have a feature on a girl who's actually pregnant and finishing up her senior year, and it's really inspirational because she talks about, you think there's only one or two options to have it, drop out of school or get an abortion, and she kind of talks about how she came to her decision of what to do and how she's working through school. We have another story about a girl who was assaulted, and she really talks about it a lot. And yeah, so it's all about empowering women, and there are also a lot of really like happy articles too that aren't as tense, just like beauty tips, health tips, stuff like that.
That's
Oh,
awesome because you
okay.
still have the inspiring stories. Good
yeah,
balance. it
we try
sounds.
to do a balance of the happy and the serious.
Awesome.
So I should ask, when will this be available that we can get, and are you doing any special promotions for?
So what we do is last week we had Valley Week, which we just had a table in the hub to hand out promotional items. We also have a website, so a lot of our like promo items will say our Twitter handle, so people can follow our online web articles. There are maybe like 4 articles go up every day. Yeah, so they'll say at Valley Mag, and we handed out sunglasses, we handed out pens, all different things. We had a whiteboard where girls wrote down their favorite quality about themselves and
that's
took a picture
awesome.
and we put it on our Facebook because it's just about empowering women, I
Right.
guess, and making them feel good about themselves. And a lot of girls said my independence and stuff like that, not necessarily physical things, which was cool to see.
That is awesome. We talked about on our show today people and their opinions of journalism and where it's headed. And I'm really interested, since you have a publication and you
Right.
work with it, do you have a lot of obviously social aspects? You use Facebook, it sounds like. You have a page and Twitter. Do you think it helps you guys, and how do you use it really?
Right. So Valley, the magazine, is 11 years old now, and the website really only started up the past couple of years. It started really building. We try to, I don't know, we'll tweet say we have an article about a certain team or something. We'll try to tweet at them and engage people. We've really seen how important social media is. When an article gets a lot of shares, it gets so many hits, and I watch the stats on our WordPress, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this article's doing well, and I'll shoot like a writer an email. But yeah, social media is huge. Most of the clicks are straight from Facebook or Twitter.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that really is your audience, actually. It seems
Yeah.
like that's where you get a lot of your views from.
Right, and then it also helps us kind of hype up the magazine coming out. So it's coming out on Monday. Obviously the print issue is really cool. It's great that people get to physically hold it, but like you said today, web is just so important.
Yeah.
And it also gives our writers an opportunity to write more frequently because we can only afford so many pages and so many magazines, whereas with web they could write a lot more.
Building anticipation, that's so exciting. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You have done a lot of hard work, and I know I can't wait to read this Valley magazine. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And absolutely. Well, you can catch us next week on The U.
We're just saying.
Worst closing I've ever done.